Hey folks, so today I'm coming to you as a video because I'm not in the class today, but I wanted to continue our learning on the idea of the metric system and then conversion within the metric system. So last week we talked about the metric system and all the base words like meter and liter and gram. And the way the metric system works is you add a prefix to each of those root words and it actually denotes a value. So kilometer means 1,000 meters, kilogram means 1,000 grams, hecto means 100, deca means 10, and so on and so forth. So we have our King Henry picture up here. And what I'm going to use this picture up here to do today is I'm going to use this picture to actually describe how do you convert within the metric system. And this only works when you're in the metric system. So when you're going from something that is metric to something else that's metric, this is the only method, not the only method, but it's the only way that this method will work. Okay, so that being said, again, I've got my King Henry picture. King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. Now what that does is it gives us our values in order. Kilo, hecto, deca, the unit, the base unit, deci, centa, and milli. Okay? So what I'm going to show you, and I'm actually going to use a train station as my example to how we move the decimal. And that's all it is. It's a base 10 system, so the decimal is just going to be moving left and right. You're not changing the value of the number at all, okay, except where that decimal place will sit. If you've ever ridden on a train, whether it's a subway train or an actual train on the rails, trains have regularly scheduled stops. They stop at one station, then they move on to another station, and then they stop, and they move on, they stop. Well, let's imagine, if you will, the decimal place is going to be riding the train. And when each of these values is going to represent a train station. Okay? And these are all stops along the train station. These are all stops along the route. Okay? And a train must stop at each of these stations if it's got to pass by it. It can't just go past it. So let's say I give you a value such as, I don't know, let's say 78.3. Make that decimal a little bit bigger for you. And we'll call it centimeters. And I want to know, well, how many millimeters is that 78.3 centimeters? So this is a conversion within the metric system from centimeter to millimeter. Okay, all that's changing is the prefix. Now, let's say when you get a value like this, the first thing you want to look at is you want to look at the unit that's in the problem. Okay? That's going to tell us the station that we are going to start our journey, or the decimal point is going to start its journey. So the centimeter spot, we're going to start right here on this side of the board. And it wants me to go to millimeter. So I'm getting on the train that's going to take me directly from centi to milli. One stop, one station, makes life a lot easier. So what you can do, you jump on a train here at the centa, because that's what it's telling me in the problem, and I'm getting off the train at milli. So all I've got to do is go from centa to milli. Pretty easy, right? So whatever I just did up there, if I put my number again down here, here's my decimal point, all I got to do is go the one journey, one station over, and then I just write my number with the decimal place in this new spot, which will be back there. And since it's the end of a whole number, you really don't need it, but if you want to put it there, go for it. But that would be my answer to the question. 783 millimeters are in 78.3 centimeters. Okay, let's do another one. Erase this. Let's do another one. What if, let's go over here. What if I've got, let's say, 185 hectograms? Could be meter, could be liter, whatever. And I want to go to deca. So I'm looking for the decigrams. Okay? Now this is going to be a bigger journey. And the train's going to have to stop at every single stop along the way. So my decimal point is back here. It's after a whole number. If it's not there, it's after the last whole number. So I'm going to write the number here, 185. And I'm going to put a nice little decimal point right behind it, just so I know what I'm doing. I'm starting at hecto. I'm getting on the train at the hecto station. Getting on the train at the hecto station, and I'm making my way to deca. And I got to stop at each station. 1, 2, 3 stops away, and I'm there. Take your decimal point, move 1, 2, 3 stops away. There's my new spot on my decimal point. I can't have these spaces be empty, so I'm going to fill those spaces with zeros. So that gives me an answer of 185,000 decigrams dg in 185 hectograms. Okay, that's all it is. It's all really just moving the decimal and knowing the direction to move the decimal. And if you kind of take my train stop idea here, you can do it very easily. Okay, so for homework, you guys have a worksheet of practice problems. Okay, so 3 of them I have put up on the screen here. Here are the 3 that are basically 1, 2, and 3 from your worksheet. Okay, they're up here on the left. We're going to do them together. So that way you guys can at least get off on the right track, and then when this video is finished in a couple minutes, then you can actually go and do it yourself. So let's start with number 1 here. 362.1 centimeters equals how many millimeters? 362.1 centimeters equals how many millimeters? Where am I getting onto the train station? The centimeter station. It's right here. Where am I getting off? Millimeters. I'm going 1 trip to the right. The decimal point is going to travel 1 trip to the right. So this gives me an answer of 3621 millimeters. Okay? The same journey can happen towards the left, too. In this case, it's which way you move the decimal point. All right? Now, I want to show you, before I continue on to question 2 here, I want to show you a trip to the left. Okay? So let's say I've got, I don't know, 425.6 centimeters, and I want to know how many meters that is. That's the unit. That's that unit there. So I want to know how many units that is. Okay? I jump on the station at centimeters. I have to travel meters. I got to stop at every station. So it's 1, 2 stops to get to the unit. Here's my decimal point. 1, 2 stops. Gives me 4.256 meters are the same as 425.6 centimeters. So the trip can go left or right. It just depends where you get on the station and where you're getting off the station. Okay, so let's go back to our homework. Let me erase this and go back to our homework. 5.823 meters equals how many centimeters? Well, meters here, centimeters is 2 stops away. 1, 2. The decimal point will travel 1, 2. So my answer, here, let me do it up here so you guys can see it better. 2, 3, and I got to go 2 stops. So my answer is 582.3 centimeters. There's my answer to number 2. Okay? If you don't understand how this is working, review this video, rewind this video, and try it again. And see if you can't see the method I'm using. All I'm doing is talking about train stops. The number they give us, that's the stop I get on, and then where am I getting off, and then how many stops it's going to take for me to get there. Okay, last one, 324 meters. And now in this case, the decimal point is going to be back here, and I want to go to millimeters. Here's meter. I got to go 1, 2, all the way over here to millimeters. That's 3 stops away. 1, 2, 3. And there's my answer. My answer is 324,000 millimeters make up 324 meters. Okay? So that is conversion within the metric system, going from metric to metric. And what you can do is move that decimal place over left and right. But the question becomes, well, which direction do I go? It's all about getting which station you get on and then which station you get off. Okay? So again, if you do not understand what I just went through, this is a 9-minute video. Why don't you rewind and watch my example again? Maybe it'll start to click, and then you can do the rest of that worksheet. Okay.